Happy Wednesday evening. So, I have been influenced, motivated, and encouraged to do an after work story. Yes. In addition to the Saturday morning story, it's a long story, but I live down the street from a library, and I went there yesterday and I lost my earbud to my phone, and I was so distressed, and I was like, why was I led there? And I finally got the answer. Because, Michelle, you need to take advantage of this library being right down the street and all these beautiful books share with the world. So here I am. So this book is Sarah Rising, and I read the books real time, so I want to experience the joy of a story with you. We have to keep each other safe and stand up for what's right. Praise for Sarah Rising. Sarah Rising is a book that both illuminates inequality and reassures Black children that they are not alone. Woo. And this is from Bayo Phi, author of A Different Pond. Sarah Rising shows us that in sad and scary times, we can care for one another in the most profound ways. And that is how communities rise. Yeah, we had our mayoral and automatic election yesterday, and we're really talking about communities rising and being rebuilt. So this is very important. Sarah Rising is a striking debut that explores what one father and daughter do to confront injustice. This is a much needed and powerful picture book. That's by John Coy, award-winning children's book author. Okay, well, let's dive in. This is a great cover. I don't know if you can see it with the reflection, but you see the people, they have their posters and petition picket signs, Black Lives Matter, I Can't Breathe, the George Floyd, and so much going on. And then you see the police on one side and then the citizens on the other side. So this is going to be a very interesting, timely read. And with talk about defund the police, no, we need to reallocate resources so that we can prevent occurrences from taking place. Yeah, that's what we need to do. When police kill a Black man in her city, Sarah and her dad joined the community to protest. On this sad and scary day, Sarah learns the true meaning of community and what it means to keep one another safe. Also, this is very, very current, by Ty Chapman, and illustrated. The pictures are by D. Ann Wiley, published by Beaming Books, Minneapolis. Okay, so let's dive in. Copyright, it was just published last year, 2022. Okay, let's look at these great pictures. Oh, a beautiful yellow house. I love yellow houses. It always reminds me of Van Gogh. Yeah, the artist. My morning started like any other. I ate most of my toast before running out the door to find food for my pets. Okay, so you see, Sarah takes care of life. Once I found enough leaves, I fed them to my beetles, and I put some toothpaste in my ant farm. They like it. Don't tell my dad. So she is a little scientist here. Never heard of that. But look at that. She's outside tending to nature. Okay. With everyone fed, I started getting ready for school. She got her pink room and her pictures, her decorations, artwork. But then Dad came into my room. He said I wasn't going to school today. Uh-oh. He said, Sarah, we're going to protest. So this is the month of May. So she's about to do something very important. Dad told me that the police had killed another Black person. They're supposed to serve and protect us, he said, but they hurt us instead. Oh, some police are like that. Some police are careless, but a lot of police take their job very seriously. So this is what Dad is saying. That's why we have to keep each other safe and stand up for what's right. Yeah. No matter what job we have to do that. That's our mandate. Soon we saw a huge crowd of people. They were all shouting for justice. I grabbed Dad's hand and we walked into the crowd. Look at this big crowd. It was loud and scary, but I knew I was safe with Dad. He held my hand tight and began yelling with the crowd, "No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace." And you see other posters. My life matters. And remember I told you that our Black History program, the theme was Black Love Matters. Yes. We love ourselves, love our neighbors, and vertically. I almost shouted too, but then a monarch butterfly flew right past me. I followed the butterfly as it fluttered above the crowd toward a big building. And you see this police building. Time for change. Tony, McDade, George, Brianna, Tamir, India, so many others. And look at this. Until it flew right in front of a cop's face. That's the monarch. He jumped back like he was stung by a wasp. He smacked the colorful monarch out of the air. It fell to the ground and it didn't get back up. Uh-oh. That's probably a comparison, a metaphor of what happened to someone's life. I knew I had to do something. We have to keep each other safe and stand up for what's right. I ran toward the butterfly. The cop started shouting, "Get back!" He roared. He looked at me like I had done something wrong. Protect our daughters. Protect our sons. Stop hate. She's just trying to protect a butterfly. Look at this. And we know that this is a very stressful job. Teaching is very stressful. A lot of people are on edge right now. Some mean to do right. And they have so many expectations, and a lot of them are stressed out. Believe me, I understand. It's somewhat of a mess out here. I ran back into the crowd, pushing past people as tall as trees. A cop's job is to protect us, so why do they hurt us instead? Well, we have a lot of pain going on in the land, and we know with the mayoral race, the reason why the top two candidates were able to prevail, Paul Vallis and Brandon Washington, because they ran on the platform as far as public safety, right? Taking back the city and being able to have our citizens protected. Well, this is what they're saying here. Our cops, our police should protect citizens and not hurt them. And sometimes they feel like their hands are tied. I ran until I felt safe. Then I realized I didn't know where Dad was. I was scared and alone. Oh no, look at all this. I shouted for Dad for a long time, and for a long time, I didn't find him. Have you ever been lost in a store or lost in a crowd, or maybe you lost something? That's not a good feeling. Like I said, me losing my earbud, that wasn't a good feeling. And then I remember misplacing a ring. That's not a good feeling. Feeling like you don't know, you don't have your bearings. Where are you? Where is this? Suddenly, one of the very tall people knelt down. Beautiful. Their face was full of worry. Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. And they were holding a big sign. They asked if I needed help. Yes. And I told them what had happened. You see that? You see that? This maternal woman right here? And she was holding the sign, "How many more? No police." See, this is what community is about. We care for one another. We connect. I'm about to contact some parents when I get off of here, because my son is 21. I'm past the elementary years and the high school years. I'm thinking those years were the hard years, but it just continues in college. But teachers want to partner. Good teachers want to partner with parents in the community to help the children. If they're lost physically, if they're lost emotionally, academically, that's what true education will empower an individual and a family, so that we can all spur one another towards success and winning. So I love this picture. Beautiful. And she has my favorite color, that apple green. Good book so far. Great job. Okay, let's look. They let me sit on their shoulders so I could see over the forest of people. Look at that. You see that? Isn't this beautiful? Silence is violence. We have to take a stand. We have to be vocal with what's going on. They kept me safe while we searched and shouted, but we couldn't find Dad. But you know what? She was with a good auntie. That's what we are out here. We're aunties and uncles for all the children, whatever color. All lives matter. Black lives, brown lives, all of them. Precious in our Creator's sight. Now look at this. Yep, say her name, Brianna. Yeah. And then to George Floyd. Yeah. Freedom. Until suddenly I heard my name. Then I saw him. I jumped down from my person perch and ran to give Dad a big hug. Yeah. He was concerned about his daughter. You see this? It takes a village. We stayed at the protest for a while. This time I held his hand tighter and yelled with the crowd, "No justice, no peace. My life matters. Everybody's life matters." We have purpose, we have intention. We got home just before the sun went down, just like right now, evening. And after dinner, I went straight to bed. I wasn't really sleepy. It had been a sad and scary day, but Dad said it'll be okay. I'll keep you safe, just like you kept your butterfly safe. The sun will rise in the morning, like always. Ooh, those are some reassuring words. And it did. It did. In the morning, I ate most of my toast before running out the door. I fed my pets their favorite snacks. And after a few days, my colorful monarch was all better. I set it free outside and watched it fly far away from anyone who would hurt it. Yeah, we watched. Right? It was safe and free. Beautiful. Let's read about this author. When I was young, my mother and I lived in eastern Texas. We enjoyed our lives there, feeding our neighbors' horses, eating wild blackberries, and living surrounded by nature, until James Byrd Jr. was murdered by a hate group near our home on June 7, 1998. My mother moved us across the country in hopes that I would live a full, happy life. We wound up in St. Paul, Minnesota, where I found the arts and went to much more diverse schools. Beautiful. But I also grew to see that cruelty toward Black people was not just a Southern issue. Beginning in elementary school, I was treated differently in classes due to the color of my skin. In high school, I watched resource officers use unneeded force on Black teens regularly. Oh boy. That was reality. As an adult, I, along with many other Black people, have experienced countless traumas as Black folks around the nation are murdered by police. The Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area is one of the most unequal cities in the nation in terms of Wealth, education, and police violence. Today, the median black family in the Twin City areas earns $38,178 a year, which is less than half of the median white family income of $84,459 a year. Yes. Also, the incarceration rate of black people in the Twin Cities is 11 times that of white people, despite black people only making up roughly 1/5 of the population. So we're wasting a lot of valuable real estate, human real estate, right? Human value. That's why we got to start young, really planting seeds in our children. The Twin Cities has lost many black lives at the hands of police. While only 20% of Minneapolis population is black, roughly 60% of police reported uses of force target black people. The most high profile of these cases being Jamar Clark, murdered November 15, 2015. Philando Castile, murdered July 6, 2016. George Floyd, murdered May 25, 2020. And Winston Smith, murdered June 3rd, 2021. When George Floyd was murdered by Minneapolis police, our city and our nation have finally had enough. Minneapolis black folks and their allies demanded justice, but those demands were met with more violence at the hands of police and hate groups. During the racial uprising, it became clearer than ever that the police were more interested in protecting property and white supremacy than they were black lives. What kept many people going each night was the promise of the sun rising in the morning and the support of the community. Minneapolis came together in a way I had never seen. Strangers became neighbors. Neighbors became friends, and plans were made to protect as many people and homes as possible. Without the police to count on, a city came together to keep one another safe. It is more important than ever to take care of each other and speak out against injustice in our homes, our schools, neighborhoods, states, and nation. When we cannot trust the police to protect us, we must keep each other safe. It's so important that we are concerned with our children, our teenagers, young adults, families. You can help. You can do things like speak up for classmates who are being bullied, have difficult conversations at home about race, read books, ask your teachers difficult questions about race and history, encourage friends and families, make friends with people who are different from you, make posters about racial equality, and above all else, be ready to learn. Keep an open mind about race issues and the hardships that other people experience. This is beautiful. It's a good book about race relations. And, okay, let's look at the picture of the author. Again, this is Ty Chapman. He's an author, poet, puppeteer, and playwright of Nigerian and European descent. He is passionate about art that speaks to the Black experience in America. His recent accomplishments include being named a Loft Literary Center Mirrors and Winslow Fellow and publishing poetry through multiple journals. And the illustrator, Deanne Wiley, is a Detroit-based artist who has been painting traditionally for over 5 years. She recently broke into the digital art world and shares her artwork with a large online audience. She is an advocate for social justice and is dedicated to making art that is authentic and intentional. Beautiful. So, great things coming from this book here from the author and illustrator, and we want to make sure that we have conversations, we look out for one another, and we find a value of all life, because every human being matters. Okay? Have a wonderful evening, and make a difference out here. Enjoy.